Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass, and today we're looking at a really awesome way to watch TV and play games at over 100 inches. In this video we're taking a look at the BenQ TH685 projector. Now this is a really great projector. It boasts incredible brightness, full 1080p HD at 120Hz and only an 8.3 millisecond latency. So let's take a look. First up we have what's in the box. Now you get power adapters for both the UK and US, VGA to connect to PC or laptop, and a user manual. Now it's a bit strange that this Super HD projector doesn't come with any sort of HDMI cable, but you've probably got one lying around. If not, they're super cheap and I'll have some linked in the description down below, but it would have been nice to have one in the box. And then lastly you do have the remote. You can do every single function that you need to with the projector on this remote. It's a little bit small, there's no sort of backlighting or anything, so it's not the easiest thing to use in the dark, but it does the job. And then we have the projector itself. Now this is a pretty standard affair for projectors. It's a gigantic white box, tons of air vents, all the connections you could think of around the back, plus you have that giant lens up on front. Now the design itself is quite nice and sleek. You have a nice pattern on the top here, but it's nothing groundbreaking in terms of projectors. It looks pretty standard. Now with regards to the connections, however, you've got everything that you could think of and some that you wouldn't think of. First off, you've got audio in and out, 2 full-sized HDMI, full-sized USB, PC and monitor in, and an RS-232 connection. Now that last port is really only for high-end theatre systems. It's a little bit strange to see it on here, but it's there if you need it. The bottom of the projector also has a ton of different mounting points, so if you do want to mount it to a ceiling or have a more permanent setup, you've got the option to do so, and the software itself will let you orientate the screen in any way that you need to. On the top you do have buttons for power on, volume, source input, menu, and keystone options to make sure that the picture looks good. Now at the top front you also have where you can adjust the zoom and the focus on the lens, and that comes in really handy when setting it up on the wall. Getting perfect focus is key with a projector like this. Now speaking of that lens, like I mentioned, it's capable of 1080p 120Hz. Now the lamp brightness goes up to an impressive 3500 lumens. Now most of the time it's going to be around 1600 or so for the majority of situations, but you can boost it if you need to for those lighter watching environments. The throw distance, which is how close the projector needs to be to the screen or wall, could be better. You do have to have it relatively close to the subject. Now for me, in my bedroom for example, I've got it around 8 feet away from the wall that I use, and I can set up the zoom and also the focus with no issues at all. Now how long that lamp will actually last will depend on what mode you use it in. Now you've got eco mode, which will get you around 10,000 hours worth of use, which is basically like watching Marvel's Endgame 3,333 times before the bulb goes out. Or you can use it on normal mode, which again is around 4,000 hours, so like watching Endgame 1,333 times. I really need to watch Endgame again. Now this is pretty normal for most projectors and in this price range. Now BenQ states however that for normal use you'll get around 3 to 4 years out of the bulb, and it's only around $100 to $150 to get a new one, which every 3 years is way cheaper than buying a new TV. Now the speakers on the projector are actually quite good. Now yes, they do lack a little bit of bass because of the size of the speaker, but you do also have that 3.5mm output to connect your own speaker system if you want to, but overall for most listening experiences the speakers do a really good job. Now watching a super bright image like for example The Simpsons really shows how bright the actual projector can get. Now yes, it's not going to be as bright once the lights come on, but you do also have the lamp boost feature which boosts up the brightness of the lamp, so again it's not the worst watching experience even if there's a little bit of light coming in the room, but as always with projectors you want optimal lighting conditions, and that's none. Now sometimes watching something with a little bit more darkness to it shows off how not so good the contrast can be. Now obviously with an OLED TV for a similar sort of price you get those really deep black super high contrast, and that's just something that you don't really get with projectors. The actual blacks themselves are more of like a lighter grey sort of tone. It doesn't really affect the overall image quality, but if you're watching maybe a horror film or just something that has a lot of dark scenes in it, you might struggle to see what you need to. So what about for gaming? Well, if you head over to the BenQ product page, it's basically games, games, and more games, and for good reason, because like I mentioned, this projector can do 1080p 120Hz frame rates. Now, what that means is if you're going to be playing a game like The Last of Us, for example, it's going to look really good. Yes, again, the contrast might not look amazing, but for an overall story experience, 100 inches with a great game is going to look great. Now, I wouldn't necessarily play this with any competitive shooters like Call of Duty, for example, but again, you do have that 8.3 millisecond response time, so it's actually quite good, but don't be expecting to win any tournaments. Now, I also tried this with my laptop, iMac, and also my iPad, just mirroring the screen with an HDMI to USB-C cable, and it done a really good job. If you want to respond to emails at 100 inches, or just catch up on some YouTube, then again, just connecting it and mirroring exactly what you're seeing on your device is a really great option. It's also good for slideshows as well. If you've been on holiday recently, well, not out of the country, but if you've been out on holiday, then obviously you can then show off the pictures that you've taken really big and for everyone to see. Now, you do also have different picture modes, and the game mode itself does actually boost the brightness and clarity to a point where I did notice it, and I actually kept it on game mode the majority of the time because it just looked better to my eye. Now, I actually struggled to get some video of how the projector looks on the wall. For some reason, the frequency of the projector and my camera didn't really marry up too well, as you can see from these clips, so I've gone ahead and gone onto YouTube to find some other people that have done a review on this projector to see if they've got any examples to show you. And as you can see here from these clips, it basically mirrors exactly what I've been saying. The colours aren't too bad, the brightness is really good, but the contrast could do with a little bit of work. Overall though, if you do want to watch something at over 100 inches, this is pretty much one of the better options out there in terms of projectors. You do get some projectors that you can find for maybe $300 or $200 for example, but they're just not very good. The majority of them cap out at maybe 480 or 720p, so again, to get 1080p, 120Hz and 8.3 millisecond latency is really good value for money. So overall, the BenQ TH685 projector is good, but then again it should be for around $700. And that's kind of my main issue with this projector, is the price and also the fact that TVs exist and are going down in price. You can currently get around a 4K HDR full smart TV for a similar sort of price, if not less. Now, yes, it's not going to be as big in regards to the 100 inches, you may be looking at around 42 inches or so for that sort of price for a really good TV, but again, it's going to give you that better image quality, clarity, colours, and just overall picture quality is going to be better, especially for gaming. But that's not really the point with projectors. Now, yes, you can have a more permanent setup, but for me, the main reason of a projector is to actually take it out and about with you. If you wanted to take it around a friend's house or to a party, for example, to get large screen gaming or watch a movie, then this is a really great option to have. Again, all you need is the power cable, a source input, which again, there's a ton of them around the back of the actual device, and you're pretty much set and ready to go for a movie night. And that's going to do it, guys, for this video. Now let me know in the comment section down below what you think of projectors and if they're actually worth it, or if you just want a really great TV experience. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section or on Twitter at Copper vs Glass. If you're not already subscribed, now's a great time to do so, and once you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell so you're notified anytime I post a new video here on the channel. I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.